Good morning, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, RPG Limbo Break fans. We are blessed with a morning race here between rubes000 and ADR. This is a round 2 winners bracket for the winter tournament. As you can see, our runners running identical parties. This was a dodgeball draft in the race room with ADR opening with the red mage, and then Rubes countering with fighter thief, and ADR rounding it out with a white mage. My name's Caleb. I'm here talking about FFR today, watching these runners race. I got Dark Moon restreaming and Danny tracking, both of which are happy to help out with the FFR in the morning. And
We did it!
Yay! It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done morning commentary, but I'm a big fan of Rubes and ADR. They are some of the folks that like to run races with me in the morning, and they're carrying that energy over into an actual tournament race. Now, as far as the blessings and curses go, I guess I can get that information up while we still have a couple minutes here. If there's questions in chat, please feel free to fire them away. I would have to go download this. See, Danny, do you have the blessings for these runners?
I was working on it, but I hadn't
All
got
right.
it yet.
No worries, no rush, Danny. So they're not doing anything else to these flags. There's no other sort of changes. So these are standard winter tournament flags. So we got an oops all loose shard hunt where we're going to be opening all kinds of boxes. We're going to be looking for 28 shards, 12 of which could come from fiend kills. We do not have any sort of early transportation, so we're going to be looking for not only a ship, a canoe, a floater. We're also going to be looking for a bridge potentially. And these flags tend to go one of two ways. You either get the early canoe and you have access to all of the inner sea right away, or you don't get the early canoe and you get an early floater and you never find the canoe. Which seems to be the what I've encountered the most, but early canoe feels like it has the most potential to create an interesting path through the sea, as it gives runners the chance to route diverge from ice or volcano, where we're more than likely going to see an early shipping canal that will kick our runners into an early earth cave that hopefully they have a rod for. They'll likely see our runners dive marsh with red mage, white mage. We're going to hope to see an early exit or warp so we can get in and out of dungeons early. The XP in these flags can be bad in the early game, and we will be low level for a while, but here we go into the white magic shop. We've got harm 3 for the white mage. That's pretty good. That's a mid-tier sweeper to match that ice 2 fire 2. An important thing about that level 1 ice, I'll be interested to see if any of our runners pick it up. It will hit as hard as ice 3, but it will only target one character or one enemy. Popping into the armor shop, we've got silver gear, pretty expensive stuff, but Rubes on and out of Canaria, heading to the Temple of Fiends. So a pretty quick encounter here. Wolves. This is maybe like a 30-step encounter, which wolves and mad ponies. Interesting that they're getting. I must have missed an encounter there. Or those are just slightly different encounter tables. We get a first box canal. You truly love to see it, and we'll get the timers going on these runners as well. Shard and money to buy that silver equipment. Not bad. Rube's going to step outside, take the safety save just in case Garland has a script. We're going to harm 3, and oh, we have a red mage with doom magic. So Brack, Bane, and I believe Rub was available there at level 8. So Rube's taking advantage of the early insta-kill. Is going to talk to the king and princess and get a shard and heal pot. So not terrible, but with only the canal, that means we have to walk all the way over to Dwarf Cave. But first, gonna check the item shop here. There is the off chance that the shop item could roll, but with Oops All Loose, we're looking for either an item for sale or a duplicate item that would indicate that that is the loose object that got rolled into the shop. There are only so many things that can land in the item shop, and when you see like 2 houses for sale or 2 different iterations of heal pots, like you know that that was the shop item. Because the main NPC that is the caravan can either roll one of the random key items that are loose in the world, or if it chooses to not do that, it will be a random um, consumable item. But here we go. Rube's fighting some dogs outside of the dwarf cave. Gonna pop into dwarves, check these 2 boxes, and see what's what. We're looking for a ship, a canoe, or a key. That is our or a bridge. So ship, canoe, key, bridge. And it's gonna be ship. Alright, so we have access to Elfland for a shop check. We have access to Provoca for a shop check and a Vicky check. We have the 3 boxes in Matoya, and we have all of Marsh Cave minus the key locks to get into. Dark Moon, our wonderful restreamer, has just loaded in the blessing information. That fighter resists earth, ice, and fire. Comes with an extra 5 luck, so fighter going to be able to run a little bit better today. Thief with 25 agility and the ability to equip shields means a little more evasive, tankier thief. Red Mage gets +2 level 1 magic points, so a few extra charges we probably would have noticed if we spent a little bit more time in a menu, but we got Fade, Heal 2, and Invis 2, so good magic here for the White Mage. Gonna check out level 2 Black as well. And we got Nuke, so Nuke and Fade levels 2 for White and Black, or Red Mage, so we're gonna be cooking pretty early. The White Mage has +10 strength, which is sort of negligible, as well as heal magic, so that should be like Cure 3, Heal 2, maybe level 1 life. And there's the floater and Matoya, so I think that confirms we're never going to see that canoe, as Matoya's crystals block right next to her t-shirt. That's a pretty good Matoya check. Warple +4, nice in-game weapon. We have evasion item with the white shirt, and we don't ever have to come back to Matoya because we already got the crystal in her boxes. What the runners missed out on, as Vicky has the slab, the Black Mage had 10% extra hit and the ability to equip Red Mage armor. So the Black Mage almost a Red Mage, just the ability to not cast white magic. And the Black Belt came with 20 strength and legendary swords. So it's a perfectly fine Black Belt to leave behind. Alright. Now, Rube's going to head to Matoya. He's going to get the information about the Crystal Floater and Vorpal Sword. ADR is going to clean up his Vicky fight and get his slab. So, Vicky working on his Duolingo. It's pretty nice to see, you know, just kind of hanging out with his buddies, learning a different language. We are getting some information in chat about the stream buffering a little bit. We do apologize for that. We're working on it. There's only so much we can do with internet connections being what they are. Alright, Rubes finishes Matoya. ADR cleaning up Provoca. Cheap houses. 656 gold is almost what you love to see. Like, it's great. So with Ship and Canal, Rubes gonna check level 3 magic. We do have access to early Earth Cave. So in these seeds I've found Ruby in like the first floor of Earth, which leads to like a canoe or a key in the Titan's Tunnel, or canoe floater, one of those things on Sarda. We also have access to Crescent Lake, which, again, nothing guaranteed with the Sages or the shop there, but a couple cheeky checks. So we have as much open as we could without another piece of movement item. So a canoe or well, we have floaters. Without canoe, Oxyale, or Chime, there's only so much we can do, and Rube's going to make the play heading into Marsh Cave. So slight pathing advantage for Rubes has allowed him to kind of pull a little bit ahead of ADR, but nothing is set in stone with these flags. Topher looming around the hour mark is always the great equalizer, as there's life locked out of the red mage. So good thing we brought that white mage, as Temper and Ice 3 both there. Pretty good finds, Temper especially, as Bones with Trance, kind of gross, because we're gonna might hit several packs of them without Exit or Warp. We're gonna be stuck trying to walk that shard out of here. Now I don't know if Rubes is gutsy enough to just reset out of that shard, or if we will try to walk that out. But 2 shards in Ruby in the top of March does confirm that Rubes will be walking this out. That's too important to reset out of. Yes. Alright. One of the most sizable XP boxes you're going to find in these flags is dug out of the Incentive Marsh box. Now, the fetch quest items here, your TNTs, your bottles, your slabs, they will all turn into a piece of in-game equipment, which is pretty nice to have. You know, Vorpal Sword we saw from Mitsuya. We could also find an X-Cal, a Ruse Stick, Power Bomb. Rubes doing the often unlooked at linked box room on the 3rd row. So Rubes kind of losing his spot here, as the rest of March isn't doing anything. So that Ruby in Earth Cave is our progression. Alright, and we are cooking and booking, as Rubes is trying to get out of here before these bones lock him down with Trance. Luckily this pack did not roll the red bones that have Squint. We did find a Pro Ring down here, so that's pretty good. I don't know if Rubes will do... I'll be curious to see what plays here. Because while we totally could do that, and it could be something valuable like a tail or a ribbon or a up-rolled, and ADR also checking. So both runners, I guess, exhibiting a little bit of early morning racing nerves, walking into non-required rooms here in the March Cave. But with early TNT, without the Adamant, without the key, it's kind of, and no warp or exit, it doesn't feel great to go turn in the TNT right away. But ADR doing his best to try to get out of the March Cave, as Rube's gonna make a couple more purchases before heading on out of the Inner Sea and moving on to the Melmond continent. Gonna buy some heavy-duty gloves, +4 gloves, pretty good wrist equipment for a lot of these light warriors to get a little extra absorb. Gonna buy 41 tents, so Rube's gonna, in the process of making his own little shanty town out of tents later in the game, taking a look at level 4 magic, realizing that we are very poor and unable to buy any of this magic after buying all those tents and houses. But here we are, and this is what I'm talking about. It's already that slight advantage that Rubes had in pathing has given way to ADR now, but we are in lockstep, basically, heading for Melmond. So, all that time Rubes spent in Elfland allowed ADR to catch up from the Marsh dive. But ADR taking the time to translate the slab, going to check level 5 magic. Rubes beelining it for Titans, hoping to find a rod here maybe, so we don't have to double dip Earth if we don't have to. Life 2 at level 5, warp in its vanilla location. Life 2 is at least learnable by the white mage. will never be able to be learned by the red mage, so we will only have the one life caster in our party as Rubes finds a loot in the Titan's tunnel. And a bridge. So, definitely a required Titans check here. The loot is one of the few items that we absolutely positively need to finish the game, the other being the Mystic Key. We're just going to do a safety save here, walk over to Sarda, and if Sarda gives us nothing, it's going to be a big old reset back to Titan's West entrance. Now, as far as like where these runners can go after this, the only options they have are Crescent, and there's a vanilla rod on Sarda, so both runners making the heads up play, doing the Titan Sarda check before diving Earth. So we have all of Earth Cave to clear, which is close to like 25 boxes, I think, and the Sages and a potential shop check in Crescent, or if they really wanted to get spicy, they could sail to Onrak. But the likelihood that there's an item for sale there, I feel like you have to full clear the Earth Cave at this point, and without Warp or Exit, this is going to be dicey. This is level 8 across the board for Rubes, and no ribbon protection. We do have a couple maybe one pro ring, and unrunnable Cobras. Gonna burn some of our... Oh, and with Mute Touch, this I would just probably reset here. This doesn't feel great. If that Mute Touch hits the White Mage, we are gonna have a bad time in this fight just to get to one box. But here comes ADR. We'll see what he does coming into the Earth Cave. They do seem to be on different encounter tables. Somebody's not hard resetting, but Ice plus 2 sword is great for the fighter, but ADR says unrunnable Groger Ogre is not worth it to keep that sword. But Rubes does walk the sword out, so we'll have something for his fighter to swing. ADR checking the Earth, I guess, to see if it was runnable. Because if that Earth is unrunnable, it makes the check on Earth 2 and Earth 3 with those rooms guarded by the Earth Elemental a little spicier. So I guess a little intelligence gathering here. This time, Groger's worth fighting. And Rubes just doing quick resets. Doesn't like anything he's seeing on Earth 1, so... And I don't blame him, just a little bit of money. The Ice plus 1 sword is probably the best thing we found up here, and ADR is going to try to walk this money out. And it's going to be these little sort of differences in decision making that's going to begin to like create a gap between the runners. And as they sort of, it's like I look at these flags a lot like a double helix, where the runners will come together, they'll drift apart, and they'll come together, and they'll just keep kind of serpentining back and forth like that. And we've already seen it a few times now where Rubes looks like he's pulled ahead, and then he'll make a couple decisions, and it looks like ADR catches up and then pulls ahead, and it's just going to be that until we get some true route divergence. And unfortunately, that won't happen for a while. But I say that we find a key and a katana. Now, what I would love to see, we don't have exit or warp, so we probably won't see it, but I would love to see someone leave Earth Cave after getting that key and go start checking key locks. There's almost as many key lock boxes to open as there are boxes remaining in Earth on Earth 3 and 4. So, between Titans, Canaria, Elfland Armory, and the 3 boxes in tow, discounting the 3 boxes in Bottom Marsh, because runners aren't likely going to check them until they absolutely have to. And considering we now have loot and key, I don't think we will see those checks, but Rube's going to finish out the dive, take the crown. So that's pretty good. That's something we can do while we talk to those boxes in Northwest, is take care of Astos. Still looking for dungeon progression. So Oxyel, Chime, Cube, more shards would be great so we can start piling some XP into those light warriors. There's Adamant. So now Rubes, Adamant, TNT, and Crown. Those are all wonderful to do with the key check. Means we're going to be able to not have to double dip much of anything. It looked like ADR hesitated there for a second. I wonder if we're both runners fully committing to this dive. It's a little scary. Earth 5 and Lich in these flags can be terrifying. If Lich rolls, Blaze, poison damage, any one of those nasty Fiend 1 abilities, we could have a bad time. We have a ribbon, we have a pro ring on one light warrior. Yeah, we might have life on the white mage with heal magic. I haven't seen the level 8 slot. But through the vampire and the opal bonk, also worth noting we did find a pair of katanas, so if we do find a shop item, we will be able to sell one of those katanas and keep one for our once and future ninja. This is the floor where things get scary, because now you're fully committed to this dive, and 8 boxes to go, still finding key items. But another shard, so a fair amount of shards here in Earth is always a welcome find. If you can walk out of Earth with almost a full row of shards, it feels pretty good. But I've seen a lot of runs basically die at this point when you might hit a nasty unrunnable. Luckily, most of the fights have been runnable and we haven't been too committed to anything past the first floor. So we're going to be able to hit Lich with as many resources as we possibly could have. And there is a fancy little Xbox there in this room. Luckily, it's high enough in the room that the runners aren't going to mistake that box and hit autopilot and accidentally open that box and fight Warmech. But Herb, again, that rounds out the items that we want to find before we do our key checks. So if anyone was thinking about leaving Earth, they definitely feel rewarded for not leaving Earth. Yep, and Budge Mono in chat, it is too deep to come back for, so we will not see a Masa in this race. With a high rolled Vorpal, a couple high rolled Katanas, like probably won't need to. We'll probably pick up the X-Cal, we'll have the Vorpal for Chaos, it should be fine. Rubes taking on Lich 1, getting lucky, only a punch comes out from Lich, and Fade and Nuke enough to get it done as Rubes lights his first orb, gets 2 shards for doing so around the 21-minute mark, and we've got about a full row of shards, so I imagine we're going to hit back into Melmond, translate our slab, clean up any magic purchases because we're never coming back here, and then likely dwarves, Astos from the river dock here on the western coast, and then maybe around, maybe we'll see the Crescent Lake check into sailing around the bottom to hit Elfland. I wonder how Rubes is going to route this. Fun fact about these runners, this is a rematch, I believe, from last year's spring/winter tournament. Rubes trying to burn an encounter in the sea, that's fun. But going to not do the river check, because we don't have a canoe. That's right, I forgot. So we will do all these checks from within the inner sea. I forgot we did not have a canoe. These runners faced off last year, and the big difference was the Arsa Hags had Nuke, and Rubes never saw it, while ADR was constantly nuked in the Sea Shrine. So we got a roost stick and a power bunk. That's important gear for the end game. Rune sword +1 is awesome. We got knight armor with opal +1. Everything's starting to come up. That's a good thief sword, and there's our Oxyale. So there's progression. The big question is, what's Rubes going to do? Is he going to be thorough and continue the key locks as ADR about a minute and a half, 2 minutes behind Rubes on the Lich kill, but he won't need to translate that slab and do all the Malmon stuff, so he's going to be, they're going to be high-fiving in this Dwarven dock here. There's that helix pattern swirling back together again. It's kind of neat. Both runners, big fans of the Hooray Dwarf. You love to see it. You truly do. Checking Toflock. This is spicy. We have not seen this gargoyle encounter. Luckily it's runnable. But they do have Blizzard. It's gross. It's super gross. And there's a ribbon, so big check there. We will get one ribbon from a key item turn in, but you'd love to find a free one. Putting the death protection on the 2 standing light warriors so we can check the top right locked room. Fighter should survive any blizzards, but we're going to get the ambush on them. And we get a soft and a light axe. That light axe is pretty good for the white mage, as the harm all flag is on. So as long as the white mage is casting harm, it will hurt any enemy in the game. And light axe is basically a harm 2 battery. So ADR opting out of the Toph check will do the key density check of Canary Lock. It is worth noting that it is a heads-up play for Rubes to do the Toph lock checks, as better trap treasures on, and 2 of those boxes in there are considered better trap treasure, which is the ribbon and the light axe boxes. So more shards and a sun sword. That's an even. So now we have weapons for everybody. We got a rune sword for the thief, we got a sun sword for the fighter, we got that ice sword for the red mage. Pretty great. Gotta love early promotion melee damage. Silver bracelets +6. Definitely, I would definitely buy a lot of those. Rube's going to do the remainder of his key checks from the southern Elfland dock. Hugging this coastline means he's not going to go to Crescent Lake from here. Instead, we're going to do Elfland, turn in the herb, check those 4 boxes, probably walk to northwest, turn in the crown, check 3 boxes. Either Prince or Astos gives us a tail, and then we can promote on our way into the Sea Shrine. Opal bracelet +6 is an absolute win. That is, so the gear can roll from -6, so that is as good as it's going to get. Flame armor +6, so everything coming up for absorb in these flags or this seed right now for our runners. That flame +6 is especially worth noting because upon promotion, the thief will be able to equip it, and the fighter will be able to switch into that opal gear. Rubes waking everyone up, gonna come in here and here with that Delva Helix kind of circling back around as we're doing cleanup checks here in Elfland. Big difference here. Rubes on the southern dock, ADR on the northern dock. Rubes having done TOF lock with the ribbon. So Razor pointing out that ADR did get slightly worse encounters in Earth 2. There was unrunnables on Earth 4, while Rubes didn't, so we're seeing the difference in the encounter manipulation versus or hard reset manipulation. As Astos has the tail, so again, I won't call this, I won't say free seed is free, but everything is kind of working out to follow a very sort of linear path through this game. It all just kind of makes. Oh, of course I get this because now I have like the seed. Both owners are doing a good job listening to what the seed wants them to do. As they're getting even more shards, gonna really try to look at Rubes' menu here, but he's quite a little too fast to catch a shard count. But being able to promote before the 30-minute mark, before you have to go into like a real dungeon, feels great. We're gonna have a katana swinging, we're gonna have a vorpal swinging, we're gonna have good armor on. We have that white shirt +6 that we're gonna be able to equip that will give our white wizard fake death fire and death protection. All things considered, we're gonna be able to throw that opal bracelet +6 onto the red wizard. Like, this is. Man, I kind of wish I was playing this seed. This seems fun. Everybody's going to have a little bit of protection, a little bit something to swing. It's where it always feels like when I'm watching other people walk through this Bahamut tunnel, it's faster than me walking through it. Got Kaiser Rage in chat. Red Wizard getting that bling bling. I know, right? It's kind of envious. Right, cleaning up the gear checks. I didn't see if we reshuffled our swords. Now ADR is heading to Toph. Locke gonna get his ribbon and light axe. I wonder if we'll see ADR check Marshlock. Alright. Rubes on his way to the Sea Shrine as ADR finds the Blizzard Gargoyles. These are not the Disney Gargoyles, you remember. Marshlock would be a huge gamble. You're absolutely right, Razor1 in chat. Without access to Exit or Warp, and there's the level 1 life at level 8 for the White Mage, and there is Exit. That is White Wizard and Red Wizard learnable, but it's going to take forever for that Red Wizard to have any sort of level 7 spell charges, but still nice to have. But Rubes going to go Mermaids first. I don't hate the play, but it's a long walk out of here. But we will get some levels if we eat some seafood on the way down. ADR coming back from Toph with that ribbon and light axe in hand. It looks like he's skipping Astos unless he's going to do it from the southern dock. So we'll see. We'll see if ADR loops back around to the south. This feels... Oh, I don't... Yeah, we're heading straight to... So ADR going to miss promotion for a while with orphaning that crown check. Or did he? Oh no, he did Astos. Never mind. I'm mistaken. I see it on his tracker. He has the tail. So disregard. Danny, our tracker, saying need shards and levels. Mermaids first is smart, even if the walkout sucks. This is true. We do have Brack on the Red Wizard, and we have a good amount of damage and absorb. I think I personally would probably go Kraken side first, but I'm not good at these flags. I lose a lot of races, so we'll find out. We'll find out what the correct play, quote-unquote correct play was. Level 12 now across the board for Rubes' party. as ADR does the post-promotion gear shuffle. Gershark Big Eye, always good experience to find. Up to level 13 now. We're getting that ball rolling. Every shard that we find is a 12.5% XP increase. And there's another one, so just those 2 boxes, we're already boosting our XP pretty good. Kraken will give us 4 shards, so you know, nothing really to sneeze at. So Mermaids definitely packing the shards, as all of my instincts for this seed are wrong. I would have bailed on Earth and gone and done the key checks, but there were so many shards in the bottom of Earth, and there's good gear and swords down there. No progression down there, but maybe the loot was down there? No, loot was in Titans. Yeah. More shards here, Mermaids. Wow. Another shard. I really want to see Rubes' shard count, because this feels insane. I feel like we had 6 shards so far just on Mermaid side, which is massive. Nearly a quarter of the necessary shards found in 1/2 of a dungeon, while another 4 shards exist on the left side for sure. So Rubes probably feeling pretty good about himself. ADR going to be making the same checks. Also probably going to feel like he's in a little bit of a driver's seat, but with how linear this is and how few choices we've actually been given, both runners are probably thinking about if they're executing as well as they should be. Rubes beelining out of Sea Shrine, going to save those levels, save those shards. As ADR coming into Mermaids, looks like we're gonna do the southern checks before coming back, maybe on the way out, checking TFC and TFC North. Another unrunnable pack for ADR to catch. This is a good XP, so could be worse. But if you're gonna be forced to fight an unrunnable fight, at least get a level out of it. And there's level 11, so Rubes has a slight level advantage, but ADR will get those levels here. It looks like ADR skipped the far left DFC box, which was another shard. As Rubes is making his way to the Sharknado floor. Handful of boxes here to check too. Still looking for progression. It will be in the form of a chime or a canoe at this point. And if it's not in Sharknado, we know that it's in Marshlock, which is spicy. But there's a good chance it's going to be here in Sharknado. Just chest density alone. Alright. Or not. We have 4, 5, 8 boxes left. 7 boxes left. 6 boxes left. Uh-oh. That's a pretty good gold bracelet. I mean, we don't need it for anything. It's not an upgrade for anybody, but it would have been nice to have it 30 minutes ago. Ambush here on the Seafood Party Pack. He's going to take it. I don't hate this play. Nuke is going to wipe out most of this, and whatever isn't wiped out is going to get cleaned up with a harm 3 from the White Wizard. But Nuke does his job. We get 5k experience, level 15. Ninja and Knight have spell charges now. So here we go. 4 boxes to go. 3 boxes. 2 boxes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. We got a cube. We need a chime or a canoe, though. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. It was marsh-locked. Now I think is the moment where our run... Well, Rubes in particular is like, I faded marsh-locked. Did ADR fade marsh-lock? So... And the fascinating thing is marsh-lock could be the canoe. And so throw us into the air, but isn't necessarily... I mean, it would give us access to Volcano and Ice, Ordeals, and Waterfall, but... Canoe in the bottom of marsh doesn't feel great. Question from chat, Budgemarno, have we seen Sages? No, we have not. And we have not seen Crescent Lake shop item either. There could be a chime sitting there for sale. Because we have seen every fetch quest item now, so... But I think Rubes is taking these fights to A, ensure that we have levels on our light warriors before we hit Kraken to ensure survivability, but also to kind of, I'm sure he's processing like, what do I need to do? What did I forget? What haven't I checked? And as he runs through that mental checklist in his head, the only thing that comes up is Marshlock, because he's been pretty thorough with this seed. I don't know if he values Crescent Lake, a Crescent Lake check over Marshlock, but without Canoe, both feel pretty slow, and both are 2 checks, right? So, well, Crescent is 2 checks, Marshlock is 3 checks. Oh, I know it was unrunnable, Pickles. I was just saying, like, as you're taking the fight, you know, I don't know about other runners, but when I'm taking fights, I'm often thinking about not necessarily the combat at hand, but the path through the rest of the seed that I'm about to be taking. As Rubes pulls Kraken, we get a Brack that bounces off, and we get some okay-ish damage, but Kraken does punch hard, so we gotta really amp up the damage output here. Fade high rolls for 280. Good swing there from the Katana, but Brack does his job. And level 17 now across the board. That's the second spell charge for Rubes' party. Gonna pop in here, double check the item shop, buy some more houses, 30 of them in fact. So Rubes, the now proud owner of a small housing development in his pocket, gonna head to Marsh or Crescent. In ADR, when he doesn't get progression here on Sharknado side, I wonder if he goes back to TFC. So coming in here, gonna buy Warp, will make the Marsh check a little faster, so strong play there. Looks like we're doing an ocean save that this is going to be massive if Rubes walks all the way down to the bottom of Marsh. It's ahead to press. Whenever I try to do something like this, I always find something I don't want to reset out of. So we'll see. He is not saving or doing anything. We're just hoping we don't catch unrunnables on the dive down. Yeah, Rubes set up here for a big reset out. Or warps if we find what we need. ADR double checking his equipment. Looks like he's sitting at about 20 shards. My quick count was right. It looked like 3 rows plus 2. And there it is, the chime and Marshlock. So everything missing but the canoe. And we're just gonna warp out. We're not even gonna check the other 2 boxes. Fascinating. Canoe could have been there. We know that the XCal and the incentive ribbon are going to be in Lefane and Gaia. So while we have 1 ribbon, 2 ribbons would be even cooler. So Rube's taking a gamble. ADR gambled on TFC4. I wonder if ADR goes back for that before going to Marshlock, as he prepares for Kraken 1. ADR check TFC. Did he check TFC North or the? Because it looked like he took like a south path through, but I might have just missed it on his walkout for Mermaids. Okay. All right. ADR taking on Kraken, chugging in some melee damage along with tempers. So avoiding the Brack strategy here, going all damage. Wonder if Rubes is going to look for a desert fight to get a little more levels on his party. Kraken doing what Kraken do and taking out the white mage, but we persevere nonetheless. And you can see level 18 across the board for both of our runners. A sort of metaphysical helix pattern. As Rubes not even open to boxes, we're just beelining right to Tia. Bold strategy here. Because if shard math is right, oh, we need 4. Okay, so we're 4 shards out for both runners. ADR is gonna make the Crescent Lake check. This could be Canoe. Stranger things have happened. Rube's going to take fights along the way to gain even more levels. Hopefully, he's probably shooting to be in like the low 20s. I don't know what sword he's planning to swing in Topher. I'm assuming without the XCal, it will be that Vorpal 4. And I'm going to double check and see what his breakpoints are with that Vorpal. So Vorpal 4, it gets its 5th hit at level 28. Pretty reasonable to catch if we get set up. Now with that Sun Sword +3, big shout out to Ailmarkin for making this handy dandy little weapon tracker. That gets also level 28, so 28 the big breakpoint for Rubes. I wonder if, I know he is a runner that likes to he can do the math in his head. So ADR does not get a canoe from the old men. There's not a shop item here. So we are headed off to, also we know that there could be a shop item. So he's headed to Marshlock. Feeling real sad. Rube's gonna do the CC Gambit boxes. And nothing really doing up here. Rube's walking through the teleporter maze, does not see a war mech, catches a couple fighters though. Just a blister pace here for our runners. 47 minutes in, or basically 48 minutes in, about to be in go mode, like shard go mode with key and loot. No canoe though, but might have been a blessing in disguise. Very sort of linear path through this seed up until this point. No real opportunity for major route divergence. Rubes clearing through some more fire hydrants, hitting the Tia orb right at 48.5 minutes. We're going to swing, swing, fade, and another Brack. First turn Brack. Wow. I need this kind of luck when I'm running. Rubes lights the air crystal at 48 minutes, 45 seconds basically, and is headed down to Toph. Now, ADR gets the chime out of the first box, and it looks like he is going to open the other two, so we will find out about FOMO here. I don't believe a canoe makes this faster, though, for ADR. A second ribbon, though, that could prove valuable. Because now we can ribbon a knight and our life caster. And another shard, so pretty good. That ribbon is massive, though. So Rubes is going to get into Topher first. ADR will be better protected in Topher. Looks like we're walking out. We did not buy Warp on the Red Wizard, I guess. So Warp at level 5 was promotion locked, but definitely learnable. Gotta love the 50-minute bridge boss. Alright, just over 50 minutes into the seed, Rubes making his first dive into Topher. We will see if it is a dive in earnest or if we're going to walk around on Earth or on Topher 3 and take some fights to get some XP. Assuming we're not, because we're just running. And 4 Chimeras is pretty good XP. But we'll take some Gasties, though. Rubes is a fan of taking fights along the way in Topher. He's acknowledged that it is not often the best play. It's a very risky play. If you lose the walk down, you're going to lose any sort of grind that you pick up. But it's definitely one way to do it. Level 23 now. Double checking here. Putting all the good absorb onto the knight, although we didn't equip that shield. Unrunnable Phantom. Really gross. I wonder if ADR will check the desert for. We did have a pretty quick encounter. It wasn't the fastest. It was maybe like 20 steps. We caught our first fight in the forest south of TOF when we were walking through it. ADR not interested in taking fights on the way to Tia. He's gonna go. More fights for Rubes to eat here. Some dragons. Good XP. Trying to conserve some charges here. Switching to Light Axe strats. And Vorpal Sword in the hands of the Red Wizard. It's pretty good. About a 4 or 5 level difference between ADR and Rubes at this point. Main difference was Rubes was taking fights in his Mirage climb, while Rubes was... I'm sorry, the opposite. Rubes was taking fight, climbing Mirage, ADR is running from them. We'll take the blue D, though. Not mad at that. Rubes remembering to actually equip the shield. Rubes making some last minute sword jiggling there. Realized that the sun is better here for the knight to be wielding, but almost equipped the rune. But I think that we're setting that rune up to be equipped for carry, and we're going to just be sword shuffling through this TOF. Level 20 now for ADR. Committed to fights now that we're getting better encounters. Higher XP encounters. As Rubes, clearing through 4 Agamas, jumped up to level 24 now. We know he's about 4 levels short of that breakpoint for both the Sun Sword and the Vorpal. I don't think we're getting 4 levels on the way to Chaos. ADR also does the Sky 3 CC check, checking those 4 boxes. Also going to check the green boxes. This is something that Rubes did not check. Nuke comes out against Carry to 110, 165, about 270 damage in. Fade rolls in. We're about 400 damage in. Didn't see what the swing did initially, so. Carry well within quad X range now, and we only had quad X. But down goes the red wizard as Inferno rolls pretty high. There's that vulnerability of only having 1 ribbon. As we go coral and what are we doing, Rubes? Why are we jiggling our swords here? Thinking real hard about our weapons. We are going rune for. I feel like he didn't equip all of his swords, but I feel like that ninja doesn't have a sword equipped. I didn't see him put the katana back on. That's going to be a rude outcome if he didn't equip it. Right before Kraken 2, we're going to check our heal pots. And we are going to swing, nukes, power bonk, nukes ruse, wall, and okay. All of the indecision on Rubes. Basically a mixture of damage and buffing coming out. 1 nuke low rolled. We have power bonks, white shirts, and tempers. And now we're going to swing, fade, and nuke. Second nuke comes in for 101 damage, so better than the first one. Katana 3 hits 3 damage. Fade for 80, another low roll. That is a min roll for that fade, and we are now not doing the most amount of damage. And we switch to harm 3s. So 65 damage. Again, kind of a low roll. 115. Nuclear doesn't roll super high, but doesn't roll super low. We are very vulnerable to any sort of big sweeper that comes out from Kraken. 4 hits, 4 damage. I really wish you would have kept that Vorpal sword on, as we are now. This is trouble. Here comes Lock 2. Fire 3. We are in man mode for Rubes as 4 hits, 111 damage. And it is level 25 for the knight. There's no way to bring anyone else back up. So, rune +1 kind of betrayed him. Gonna try to run from this big Wisahag Gershark pack. Hold on to as many heal pots as we can. So we failed to run, and now we're gonna fire a fade through. Now there's a good chance the knight could hit level 28, as ADR is into Topher at the 57-minute mark, 57:41. So about 7 minutes behind Rubes, but slightly healthier party with those 2 ribbons. But this knight's might get 2 levels off this fight. There's level 25 coming in. This is gonna be a lot of XP. Yeah, it's Warmech XP, so 2 levels, big get. We are 1 level away from that Vorpal breakpoint of 5 hits. Gonna set up for a potential RNG loop. Crack comes out. We're gonna ruse. We're gonna ruse. 5 hits, 111 damage. 1 more ruse will do it. So about 180 damage comes in from Tia from physical melee punches. Time to buff up. Crack into ink. We're gonna hope that that ribbon holds true. 62 damage from. Uh-oh, we're getting crit through max evasion here. Slot 3 is a bad slot to be in, as we now have to just kind of hope that we get some sort of RNG loop here with only 104 HP. If that nuclear comes back around, we're in trouble. We're maybe like 2 or 3 big swings away. The Blaze is next. Alright, so now it's swings or nuclears. Huge swing. 6 hits, 536 damage. Or 4 hits, 536 damage. And we get through. Terrifying, terrifying fight. So Rubes does get the information that slot 3 is not good for RNG, as he does hit level 28. He does have that 5th hit on the Vorpal Sword now. And we catch Sorcerers, so we'll take this fight. We use our last 2 Fade charges. We won't need them for Chaos. And we'll get maybe more level. Hey, they just want us more levels. Alright, so crazy. So set up for a man mode Chaos fight with no healing magic, only heal pods. Want to get as much HP into that knight as possible as ADR approaches Lich 2. Yep, agreeing with what Lana says in chat, we need a punch-happy Chaos, or Advantage is currently in ADR's position, as any sort of big spells coming out of Chaos could lead to a problem. If there's any sort of multiple nuke situation, we are switching to the Opal 6, which will give us a little bit more evasion back. As the Opal +1 armor has evasion penalties, the Opal +6 bracelet does not. So 4th slot, turn order ruse, 1 hit from Chaos for 58 damage. It's a good spot to be in. Chaos tries to punch again, we got a punch happy Chaos. It's 4 punches. And there's Fire 2, so we do have a spell script. I have to hope that it's predominantly physically inclined. And there's Fire 2 and a Fire 3. Time to start swinging. 4 hits, 726, another Fire 3, that's into Lit 2. So first 4 spells, nothing really doing. 4 hits, 690, another Fire 2. 5 spells into the script, nothing gross yet. We are susceptible to chip damage though. But 4 hits, 867, Ice 2, so 2 spells to go. 5 hits, 632. Chaos has got to be on the ropes here. 4 hits, 988. Rubes gets it done with an official Racetown time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, 24 seconds. So get those GGs in chat for Rubes. He will move on in the Winter Tournament upper bracket. ADR will finish out this dive, and we'll move into the lower bracket. So a very, very fine set of spells. We don't know what the last 2 spells were. Chaos never had a chance to get there, but let's see if Rubes wants to come here and talk to me. Alright, Kraken 2 for ADR. The big difference here. I'm trying to unpack this seed in my mind and where the big differences were, and I feel like it was just minor execution things and a little bit cleaner pathing and routing for Rubes, but Rubes, GG's, buddy.
GG. Thanks for calling the comp. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, just kind of work was a little slow this morning, so I'm here.
I love it. Love to hear it.
Yeah. ADR hitting the Tia floor, catching Vampire Pack, so that might have been the big difference between, now that I'm seeing this, I was just, before you hopped in, I was thinking like where, because you guys were holding hands through very sort of linear seed. No one went to Marshlock early, so you guys were on the same sort of equal footing throughout with like information.
Yeah.
But ADR is catching vampires here on the Tia floor, so did you come into Topher on a hard reset?
I did.
Yeah. So that might have been the difference. Hard reset routing versus no hard reset routing.
I did accidentally take some extra steps on the Kraken floor because I wasn't walking along the bottom of the floor of the rooms. So it's also possible that maybe he didn't get that Gershark fight that I Wizhag fight. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or maybe it came different.
Yeah, I think we haven't seen any sorcerers yet on Tia floor, but what was your... So, talk me through your Kraken 2 fight after you get put into man mode. What was your thought process?
This is bad. I hope I've done enough damage that I can take him out in a turn or two. So I go into the fight. I was like, you know what? I want to see what happens if I put the Coral Sword on. And then I also forgot to put the katana, equip the thief with the katana, so he slapped Kraken for 3 damage, which was pretty cool. And obviously that was the wrong play. I should have just worn the Vorpal or the Sun. Either one of them probably would have been better. And I was like, well, okay. And then we get to Tia, who, well, you saw what happened with Tia.
Yeah, just relatively friendly. There was a couple times you could see that's the sort of race nerves, where you switch the Opal Shield to the Knight, but didn't equip it for a couple minutes. And then when you're rejiggering your swords around for Kraken, like there's a lot of like indecision that looked like it was happening. But ADR just lost his White Mage, so there goes his Life Caster. But set up for Chaos with a 3-man might have an easier go, but Chaos very kind with 6 of 8 spells being tier 2, tier 3 elemental sweepers. Not going to be a problem for this party. So when you realized that you needed to go back for the Chime and Marshlock, well, I guess Chime or Canoe potentially and Marshlock, what were you hoping to find?
Okay, so...
Because you had cleared everything but Crescent at this point.
Yeah, I did everything except Crescent and Marshlock, so I had potentially 2 checks in Crescent if there was a shop item. I don't know. Did ADR ever go to Crescent?
He did. There was not a shop item because we found all the turn-ins, so it would have been a shop Chime if anything.
Yeah. Okay. I should obviously that makes sense. I'm guessing Sages had nothing of interest too.
Nope.
Then, so okay, well, so I ended up saving in the sea, like just west of Marsh, so I could just sail west to Crescent if I had to do that check. And I was like, all right, I've got to go down there. I was like, okay, so it's either Chime, Canoe, could be both. Who knows? Yeah. I was like, all right, I need his. Well, you can call it a Chaos fight. We can talk about it later.
Yeah. So ADR dumping Tempers into the Knight, who's also bonking. So we're gonna get this Vorpal super active here, as we're now going to be 4 Tempers in and a bonk, but Swing comes out 3 hits, 486. There's that 4th Temper. We're going to keep putting Tempers into it. We're going to keep swinging. Somewhere Lord Fizzlebeef is proud of all the power that's going into this fighter. It's 3 hits, 660. We have 1 more Temper to come out from the Thief. Red Mage is out of Tempers, but we're all swinging and waiting. Another Vorpal swing for it, 729. Katana comes out, 3 hits, 148. Chaos definitely on the ropes here. There's not much left in the tank for him. Another 4 hits, 210. There's that second fire 3. Takes out the red mage. We have the second ribbon, assuming on the thief, who is tanking all those spells very well. 2 hits, 497. Thief is punched down to a knee, but it's all but over here. It should any second now. 3 hits, 1100 damage. That'll do it every time. Get those GGs in chat for ADR, finishing second place with a 1 hour, 8 minute, 35 second. GG's ADR is in the booth with us now.
GG. That Chaos must have rolled close to 4,000 HP, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really have much else going for it other than HP. And it didn't have a lot of absorb. It was a little evasive. The whole time you were fighting, diving through, I feel like I jinxed you a little bit, Rubes, because I was like, I pulled up Ale's tracker and I was like, all right, Vorpal 4, you need to get to level 28. And I saw like you were like level 24 after like carry and like those Agamas, and I was like, I don't think he's getting a level 28 on this dive. And then Kraken had problems, and you got to level 28. You got 29 even on that night on the man mode. So at least you got the 5th hit on that Vorpal. But GG's, fellas. How you feeling, ADR?
GG ADR.
Oh, not too bad. Rubes is a really good player, so this result doesn't really surprise me. But yeah, I'm gonna want to watch this back because we were reasonably close. And I don't think I did anything big wrong, but it must have been a lot of little things that added up over the course of the seed.
Yeah, there wasn't much opportunity for too much route divergence. Like there's like the smaller time losses definitely happened. Like Rubes is just crazy good at menuing, so you know you're more than likely going to lose time to a menuing unless like your sees your spells app kind of. But there were some checks like clearing out TFC twice, because like you did the 3 lower boxes, and then after doing mermaids you went back for the other 2 boxes, where Rubes just did TFC all in one go. But it's like stuff like that, like he didn't do crescent, so you know maybe a minute there. He did the southern key checks from the lower Elfland dock instead of staying within the inner sea. So like it feels like it was little things like that, but otherwise you guys were hand in hand. Basically did everything the same way. You both went to Titans before Earth. You both fully committed to Earth. No one left and saved and came back after getting the key. You did all of the same key locks. Rubes did do Toph lock before going to Canaria, where you did it opposite. You did Canaria and then did Toph lock. So it's just like a bunch of little tiny checks like that, but you know, it might have just been like that sort of a death by 1,000 cuts thing. But yeah, you played the seed really well. It's just Rubes had just, I guess, slightly tighter pathing and routing through it.
Yeah, that chime made me laugh a bit because the rando loves putting stuff in marsh key locks in these flags. And I finished seeing, like, I still need some shards, and I'm like, what did I miss? It's marsh key locked and sages. So I'll check sages just in case that works out, because if that ended up being canoe or something, I would have been very excited for it. But of course, Rando didn't want to be kind to me in that way.
Yeah, it was kind to you in checking the remainder of marsh locked, and getting that second ribbon, which Rubes didn't have. Rubes got the chime and warped out, because he did go to Melmon to buy warp for the Red Wizard before heading into Marsh, which was a sort of heads-up play, with exit being as high level as it was.
Yeah, I picked up that exit, and well, I think I was 1 or 2 levels short of actually having us charge for it, and just didn't have time to pick up the levels. I figured I'll just encounter Manip and go down to Marsh and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Was there any plan for, this question is for both of you, to like check the desert to look for a place to get some levels, or are we just fully banking on the walking grind?
I took a lot of fights in C specifically to pick up levels, so walking grind was a play. The first fight off the hard reset wasn't too deep into it, but deep enough that it feels like it burns a few seconds compared to taking fights you have to take anyway.
Yeah, I'm the same mindset as ADR there. Just, if something strange happened, maybe I would have gone to the desert for a grind. But I mean, everything seemed to be fairly smooth for most of it, aside from the whole key lock chime issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, GG's, fellas. Rubes, you move on to round 4. Going to take on the winner of Spellzap and Ravioli. How do you feel about that next round?
Well, I guess I'll get my seat in the lower bracket ready. Oh my gosh. So I mean, Ravioli, a little bit newer, but I mean, I was watching his most recent race, and I mean, it looks pretty scary. And Spellzap, well, there's not much we need to say about Spellzap.
And we don't need to talk about Spellzap.
We don't need to talk about Spellzap.
Spellzap is one of the folks out there hanging out watching the race, so maybe scoping the winner of this match out. Danny pointing out Spellzap and Ravioli is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Final Fantasy Randomizer Twitch, so be sure to come check that one out. ADR into the lower bracket, awaiting the victor of Luffy versus Papa Dukes. How do you feel about that potential matchup?
Oh, they're both pretty good too. That's the thing. I think there's 43 people who joined this, and I don't think there's one of them that I would say I want to take on, and I'll feel fully confident, because everyone in this tournament is pretty good. And upper lower brackets, sometimes the rando just sends you one way or the other. That doesn't mean the player's gonna be an easy win.
Oh no, not at all. Like we saw in the upper bracket, the number 1 and 2 seeds get pushed down into the lower bracket, and it's just like Lord Fizzlebeef and Woobear down there are going to wreak havoc. And that's only like 2 runners that are down there. Like you said, Luffy, Papa, you have Oslodo down there, Butchmano's lurking, you have Gouda overtaking Sunflash yesterday. Like there's some spice down there in the lower bracket. I know the meme
Peasants is there too.
Yeah, like the meme is it's the admin bracket, because all the admins, all the FFR admins and land there is almost as soon as they could. Darkmoon, I think, the only admin to take a race in the upper bracket. So GG's to Darkmoon. And it's like you said, ADR. I think you nailed it. Everywhere you look, there's tough opponents. Danny's saying that Luffy did take a race in the upper bracket. Well, it doesn't count if it's admin on admin in the upper bracket. Dan. One of you guys has to win a race. But yeah, no, this has been a lot of fun. I'm getting work emails now, so I'm going to start to wrap it up. Rubes, you finished in first. Any final thoughts? Any hesitation about that Warmac box on Earth 4? Did we ever think about it?
Well, first
you had level 2 nuke and
So first of all, GG again, ADR. It was really nice to have a race where you didn't get the really dumb luck of nuke Arsahags, so that was nice. We actually got to really race it through. Regarding Warmech, I mean, certainly I thought about it. I was just like, wait a second, he's in Earth 4. Am I really going to go back to Earth 4 for that? And there was no chance I was going to take him while I was down there. Yeah. I mean, I barely had enough to take out Lich, so...
Yeah, no, I was definitely teasing. Warmech, especially given what we saw in Topher, that Warmech might have been all spice. You know.
I believe. Well, I mean, we saw nuclears. I didn't see nukes, so
we didn't see nukes. We didn't see Cure 4s. We didn't see Slow 2. We saw a single nuclear, and Chaos had all of the mid-tier elemental sweepers. So that Warmech could have been maximum spicy.
I think Carrie did nuke me, but if I saw a Warmech on Sky 4, I think I would have taken it. But Earth, that's just asking for a wipe. That's too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was considering on Sky 4, but I didn't see him. But anyway, just GG's again. Thanks for hosting us RPG Limit Break, Caleb. I'm so happy you did comms, so I was, enjoy hearing your voice. Aww. Hopefully you talked about some food at some point.
No, we just talked about FFR.
In the morning.
There's a little jingle. But GG's, buddy. ADR, you want any final thoughts?
Oh, ditto to that. I'm always glad to hear when you commentate. I think you're one of the best. And thank you to Darkmoon and Danny for setting us up this morning. And of course, RPG Limit Breaker.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Well, best of luck to you both in your next races. I hope we get some exciting matches out of those matchups. Like, it's going to be crazy. The rest of this tournament is going to be really good. If you don't want to miss any of the action, be sure to come join the Discord. You can find the link at FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. Come join the Discord, pick up the spectator role. You will not miss a race if you do that. And otherwise, thanks again for everybody coming out, hanging out, supporting in chat. We do appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you next time.